I need to listen on the current taxation on PPF and EPF. So can you say something on that?
Any other question that you would want to club together with this one? If you want Professor Ghosh to address?
Okay, let me first answer that he was asking about the tax on the EPF and PPF in the latest budget, which he expressed very sweetly. He said, I'm going to exempt from taxation 40%. He didn't mention that, therefore, I'm adding a tax of 60% of it. Now, this is in fact very nefarious, because as you know, the idea is really to shift people away from a stable source of retirement income into a very unstable and volatile source. Why is that? Because you see, if you invest in mutual funds and various market-driven things and so on and so forth, or all these insurance policies, you really are prone to the volatility of the market. The EPF and the PPF, because of the resistance of the trade unions, have been protected from that volatility. They give you secure rates of return. And this, of course, is seen as a big incentive to keep your money in the PPF. And it's a fair incentive because it's ensuring that people who have actually worked continuously and who save to put their money in that will actually get a minimum insured, safe, regular source of income. What's really being done here is to shift people away from that, because now 60% of that is going to be taxed. Now, if that's a huge thing, why would you keep your money there? If you know that when you retire and you need the money, more than half of it is going to be taxed at 30%. So the incentive then would be to keep it in something which you think was not taxed as much, or which will be taxed, but offer you higher returns, so-called higher returns at the time being, but are market linked. Now, once you get into that, you are then exposed to the vagaries of the market, and you are subject to all kinds of possibilities in terms of the income. The purpose of the government here is to shift people away from the secure savings that EPF, PPF provide and force them into these market-related things. That's happening anyway. You know that the national savings schemes, which used to provide a secure amount at the end, have been more or less phased out. The postal savings are being undermined. Various things which would provide a secure source of saving, risk-free source of saving, are basically sought to be undermined to push people into the market-driven. And this is part of a broader thing where you're also trying to push people into market-driven insurance. So instead of giving health services, you say, I'm going to give you health insurance. Okay? And you pay a premium and then you go out to a private provider. Instead of giving proper incentives for crop production by giving a minimum support price and some support on inputs and so on, you say, I'll give you crop insurance, which you pay the premium, I'll help you a little bit with the premium, and then we'll see if that private company will give you the return when you need it, and so on. So there are various ways in which, in fact, it's really pushing people into these financial sector agencies which are not finding an adequate market at the moment.
Whenever we talk of taxpayers' money coming to the education or health funding, so there's been a lot of noise over a period of time of how we are wasting the taxpayers' money. So in the budget statement, I'm not pretty much sure how the revenue foregone is clearly mentioned. Whereas, because even with the, I remember with the, in a very recent another economics lecture, there was also the customs and central excise foregone, which happens in the ports and the airports. So if we club up all this, I mean, it will constitute more than 20,000 crores. Well, I don't even know how many zeros exist.
Okay, let me get what I mentioned as this, so-called tax incentives in the budget. The total, that is to say, the incentives on corporate tax, on customs, on excise, all of them taking together is 551,000 crore. Okay, zeros become a bit complicated, right? So what are we talking about? We are talking about approximately 5% of GDP. Okay, to give you a sense of it, how much are they spending on the employment guarantee, which they're going on and on? 0.21%. 0.21, they're here, we're talking more than 5%. Okay? How much in terms of the total education spending? That's about total, everything. That's about 3%. Higher education gets how much? Less than 1%, 0.8%. Okay? These are so just the corporate spending, the tax incentives to corporate, 68,770 something. Okay? That's just last year. Okay? If you take for the last 5-10 years, you are going to get in the trillions and trillions and trillions of rupees. Okay? But the corporate tax is 68,000 rupees, well above the total higher education budget. So you are getting the picture. Yeah? Maybe double the I have to go and check. More than double, maybe 5 times the higher education budget. So you are not beneficiaries of taxpayers' money. You are people learning to be contributors to society. Society needs you.